Hello all, K.M.K here, coming with another Dragonball Heroes Dokkan Battle video, and today I want to discuss the awkwardness of the Dragonball Hero units. I know I'm a bit late to the party to discuss about them and such, but I wanted to have some time testing them out, and I wanted to see what they can do, and I'm just now ready to make a video about it, and yeah, and how it all works. To to go short, these are Dragon Ball Hero units. They are units that only come once a year, and well, if you are unlucky with the first time, then you won't get those units that easily because it is mostly filtered units that you get. But it's not only that, there's also the fact that these are units with some, you know, these are units that have really strong kits, you know. They can do, some of them can do incredible stuff and others don't. It is depending on what the meta is as such. But what I want to talk about the most is the fact of the weird design choices that they went with this year's Dragon Ball Hero units. So let's talk about those first before I start talking about anything. And that's something that is becoming a trend lately a lot in Dokkan, that they are doing these Dragon Ball Hero units, and they have more and more restrictions. It's, or not only restrictions but also limitations. So let's talk about some of them. One of them is this Super Saiyan 4 Limit Breaker Goku. Goku, at first sight you would say, oh, he is an, you know, a slot 1 unit, but he isn't. He is very weird designed. Also the fact of, compared to the 2 years that we got these Dokkan event style units with fierce battle and such, this Goku and his counterpart are the ones with the lowest stats. It's something that was something that the community immediately noticed. But I could talk about that, but it is not of any importance at this point. At this point, we are talking about the kid. First of all, he has raised attack and defense, which is good. It's a good stat, and he is int. So, well, let's be honest. If you got him, you need more dupes just to get some value out of his abilities. But so, at first sight, you guys would be like, okay, he is good because he has crossover, full power, and but that is not the crossover in the Dragon Ball Heroes thing. That is already pretty good. So he can lead. It's just a bit the full power. The full power doesn't fit around with some of the things that I would say is important. So yeah, to say the least, he gets 3 key and then 18%, 180% attack defense, which is pretty good. It's type of stats that can help you. That is the type of percentage that a lot of units are getting nowadays. Not to mention he gets a 60% above of it when performing a sub attack. So if you get support units, that will multiply by a lot even. So, and he gets another attack of 80%, and he reduces damage received by 30% when attacking the same time same turn as superclass full power or Dragonball Hero units. Well, that's the thing. Full power and Dragonball Heroes. Well, full power that's not so bad at all. If you think about it, it is like there are some units in there, he has a linking partner in this Goku and such, which is actually his best linking partner in this category. But for the rest, yeah, you got a Vegeta and such. You will never be able to get his full potential only with this Goku. And the problem is, if you have to go to a red zone with like a physical final boss or an int final boss, this Goku's mostly an int one, then this Goku is getting destroyed if he doesn't counter. And it's like, okay, you got a physical unit, such, and here's Vegeta. Vegeta is good, so you could say, okay, he is still in a pretty safe spot because there are Super Saiyans, but a lot of these units cannot perform well in red zone. Except if you are Golden Frieza, K.M.K, or if you have awesome RNG with this Blue Vegeta. And if you are lucky, you get them, or the Golden Frieza. These ones are more. This one is more, luck, and this one is more like if you got them. So, and then same goes for him. These are units that you would choose before you even add this Goku or this. So that is how you have to see it. They don't take anyone's place. They are not going anywhere else. They are not where you want them to be. So that being said, it's like, okay, he has to be on the same with superclass full power. But he has no reason to be on that team. That's the reason of his design. And it's also if you think about it, there's only one type of team where he would perform well, but it's quite something else. And it's also the fact that he has to be hit like, he has to take 7 hits, but he's not a first slot unit. He has to attack first before he can actually get those that passive. So yeah, so basically he is supposed to be a slot 1 unit, but he's made as a slot 2 unit. So he needs to be babysitted also. He is really weird. I mean, he would be a great slot 1 unit, but he doesn't. It is like, he feels limited. I would have rather seen that this was grade A power. But let's go to the next unit. And that is Super Saiyan 4 Limit Break Vegeta. Super Saiyan 4 Limit Break Vegeta. He actually has the better leader skill of the two. Because he has crossover and he has giant A power. With crossover, just to be there, he has a bigger selection of units to lead, because you got like also the fusion leads, like for example, who else do you have here that you can use? You got Mira, you got of course, Toa to help. But and you get the 16, but 16 wants to be on Android, so yeah. Maybe even this Bullpen. Bullpen is also pretty good. But it's, of course, Bardock. Bardock is good. It's a team that actually works because you also have units. You also have access to this Vegeta and some the Bardocks, of course. So that is what makes Vegeta a bit better. But the selling point of him is he leads Giant Ape Power, which is a category that you really want to have. That you really want. That is where the Super Saiyan 4 shine. Of course, he has low stats, but what can you do? That's the leader skill. That this is where he should be on, together with the other Goku, because he will have access to this Go. Then you will have this Gohan. You will have Gogeta, the LRs, all three of them. So you have access to one of the best units in the game. Well, three of the best units in the game, to be honest. And even more, you also got these two, the AGL and the STR Goku, which are for their own part pretty good. You got, of course, Super Saiyan Vegeta and Super Saiyan Goku from GT, who are also really functional. And you got the Super Saiyan 4 Goku and of course the Gogeta. So, and of course this bad boy, Vegito, with his Dokkan Fresh stats. And seeing this, when looking at it, you will see that Goku has the shaft out of the two, because Goku will not get any bonuses from these units at all, because he needs to be, because they have to be in the same turn, and they have to be full power or Dragonball Heroes. Well, guess what? Only he is full power and only Vegeta is full power. So you will have, and you could say, well, then we're gonna, you know, off rotation, but how? How? Why would you do that? Because then he will have two rotations without his passive on. Depending on, of course, what units that you're using. Because, yeah. Because I'm gonna be honest with you guys. What are you going to run with them? What are you going to run? Because you will run Vegeta off rotation. Yeah, that could work. Yeah, you will get the active skill on, so okay, this will work. And then this, and then you will still have like one rotation without it. It's like there are not many that come over with full power. I mean, Brody here should be on full power, but he isn't, which is quite kind of shit, to be honest. So yeah, because Gogeta is not a full power at all, and you will have two units. He will always be linked up with this Vegeta for the best links, because they share a lot of links together, including this and saying roar, prepared for battle, saying more race, but it's quite, you know, it's quite weird, to be honest, but it's not that bad because they still have the potential to be run together, even though Vegeta has the better leader skill of the two. You don't want double Goku. But Vegeta is of course weird also because he needs Giant Ape Power or Dragonball Heroes to get attack. And also, you know, to get to not have so that the enemy cannot dodge. Vegeta is good in a way, but with him and with Goku, the stats are also letting them down. They are really, really weird, really weirdly designed and such. I mean, Goku is supposed to be you know, a slot one, and Vegeta is supposed to be a tank without the defense, but he doesn't have the. Does he have more defense? No, Goku has more defense, but Goku needs attack first before he can. Yeah. So, but these are not the worst of the bunch at all. Weirdly designed. They are not top. They are not like wow, but. And then you got Hearts. Hearts here. He is. Or Dio. Let's call him Dio. Dio has. You know. He can work on any team. Yeah, he's limited to the crossover team, but is that so bad? If you look at the villains. You get Toa. Toa is good. Oh, not in red zone, but when she ECA, she will be. You get Cooler here. Cooler is extremely good. Marseillan, he can work. Fu, you know, and you got Demon Goddess Toa. These are all units that he can work with, and especially when next year when Super Mira will ECA, and this one, and you got Rubel, so that is not so bad at all for Hearts. Hearts design is more like, you know, he has this, the guard for 5 turns at the start, and after that he can't perform well because he doesn't stack and so, but he still has his other stuff. He's like a certain utility unit. I mean, when you get the guard activated, he can still perform well, and so. And with Hearts, Dio, let's keep it a Dio, is when this is supposed to be the part that shine, but they fumbled this also 200%, and then so 250. So that is not so bad. That is like huge. And he does another one, so he can stack up. And of course, extreme class. And he disable guard or such, but that depends. He is more supposed to work against Realm of God units, but it's not there. But again, crossover. It is like, you know, that is his biggest thing. He is also limited to crossover. Well, a lot of the units that he links with are crossover, but they don't function in red zone. But he can be used in like full power, transformation boost. He has options still, but he is like, he will perform the first turns real well, and then he will fall off, and that is mostly in the later stages of the fight. Still, a design that is not that horrible. Still. So these three are pretty okay. Hearts is just halfway. These two are still runnable, but it would have been better if this was, you know, Giant Ape Power instead of full power. But Here is when the wackiness is coming. And these are the units that I think are the definition of being fumbled. They are failed in terms of design. I would say, and they'll be honest, I would say that these units are the type of units that are like, how should I say? They are made for a team. These units are made for a team where they are not allowed to function on. Or better yet, these are units that should function in a team outside of the intentional group that they should be in. As in this case, these are Golden Metal Cooler. Golden Metal Cooler was a unit that a lot of people wanted. They are like, oh, we wanted Golden Metal Cooler. He's going to be a big buff for Wicked Bloodline. Now we got him. He has all the links that you want to have in a Metal Cooler. Auto Regeneration, Fusion, you got the Visit, Strong Clan Space, Shocking Speed, Go Adjustment. These are all links that you want. So he is a unit that you want to have in Wicked Bloodline. And let us read this up. He gets attack and defense, perfect. He gets 150% attack and defense. He gets an additional attack that has a high chance of becoming a super attack. When performing super attack, he reduces his defense by 20% plus an additional, 30% attack up to. So you can go for like a 300 attack stat with damage reduction, which is good, to be honest. Which is really good. But it's like there is more of a condition, You can get another 30% reduction, so you will have a 50% reduction, which is all nice. Till you notice that it is locked up between a category type. This is the worst part of his entire design. This is not so bad, that he will see his own super attack when it's HP, because that is your fault. If that happens, then yeah, you're getting punished for it. But this is the horrible part. They want a unit with links that is meant to be on the Wicked Bloodline category, because that is where he belongs. He belongs in that category, and you can use him there, but you lose all that other everything else, because you need crossover. So you basically have only a unit that will never be able to function at full power. Of course, when he awakens, it can change. But in that time, he's collecting dust in your box, which is also not good. And most likely he's going to keep this. It's going to stay this, and they will just like, okay, we're gonna give him increased stats, we're gonna give him a different super attack, and we're gonna change some numbers. That's all. It's bizarre. I would have liked it if he was Wicked Bloodline, because he would have functioned a lot better, because he is a unit that would work better that works better outside of crossover, outside of Dragon Ball Heroes. He's a unit that you actually want in like artificial life form. You want them in Wicked Bloodline. That is where he belongs. But they didn't do it. This is a really weird design. He is the definition of no, not he. There's one that is even more the definition of it, but I will say it later. But he can still be saved with his awakening, but don't. There is nothing you can do about it. But there is a way. Just wait. When we are at the end. Next one is Yanimba. Modified Yanimba. Also a really good unit. High chance of guarding attacks from for 5 turns from start of a turn. Okay, guards our attack when facing 2 or more enemies, so he's super battle out. That is not so bad. Where he began to fumble is also crossover. His linking set is really particular. Because in crossover there are only a few units that would link with him. But it's not only that. I mean, dit is to make him tanky. Dit is his main way of getting stats. One of his main ways. Just to let you guys know. And he also gets an additional 50% with each super attack performed up to 1. So, yeah, plus an additional. So, you will get this. This is what you most likely will get. That you will get like the 150 and the 30. That is those. So you will have Yanimba that is non-stop and 150% and 90% defense. Of course, high chance of performing crit, hitting, starting hit from the attack, of course. And of course, he has to be attacked 5 times. But again, here they fumbled because Yanimba is a unit that works better outside of crossover. And what kind of. And you guys might say, well, what kind of. You want him in corroded body and mind? This would be better because you want him with this Yanimba. You want to have him with Fat Yanimba. You know, this is the category where he belongs. You want him to be with the Metal Cooler. Of course. You also want with Rosés because they can support him. You want them to be with this baby Yanimba, yeah, and he's of course on this category, but guess what? He would function better if he was with this baby, with this Yanimba, than this Yanimba, and of course, where are you? This Yanimba, and this Yanimba. You want them in a team like this. At the very least, you want them at least in this team, in corroded body and mind, because that is a category that needs it. Even more. And by limiting his passive to crossover, he will never get his full potential and he will never be able to function better with those other units. I mean, accelerated battle is also good because there are not many villains on this category. But he could still function here. Because look, he still has Yanimba. What you actually want to have. Well, see, you still have two Yanimbas you could sell. Yanimba links also really well with Cell. It's just weird that they are making him so limited. These are units that have so much potential, but outside of the team, but they are restricted or better yet limited to only one category, and that is the entire shame of their entire design. Yeah, Goku has it also, but at least you could still do something about it. You can still add some units, but he would lose a lot, but he would still have a few turns where he's weaker than normal. And then the fact he has the restrictions, same goes for Vegeta. So Vegeta's restrictions are better. This is just 5. Oh yeah, just 5. And he's physical. Okay, that's still better than nothing. You can always. But And then you got Harsh. Harsh is like, Dio is like half good, half bad. You know, but at least he has. But Golden Metal Cooler has nobody to link with. Yeah, he has someone, but that is another thing that I want to talk about. But you you want him outside of his. You want him with the Metal Coolers. You want them on one team, but if you do that, then you lose like more than half his kit. So, and same goes for Yanimba. Well, Yanimba will still have his kit, but he would lose stats. You take him with you to an to a red zone or something, because he could function really well in red zone or in super battle, and all of a sudden he gets supered, and it is like because he's missing stats. So he will not be able to help. He will not be able to help these teams which need it, especially corroded body and mind. So, but they can still be saved with, you know, with awakenings. The biggest problem that I have is with the ECAs that we got this year. For example, we got. Let me open a few up. You're not. You're good. You're good for what you're needed to be. Let's see where they are. Here's one. He's also good, but I want to use him for different example. You, of course, and you. Anyone else that wants to join in? Did I add Salas? Gonna add him anyway. Might as well do it. And of course, Fool. Let's do Fool also. Fool is also a thing. Oh yeah, and the Big Mountains of Time. So let's talk about these units. Go to map. Let's see. Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, let's move these guys up so that I can click them away. Yeah, that is what I want to see. Okay, first the units have succeeded. You know, in with which the ECA was correct, and that was like Great Saiyaman. Great Saiyaman is good because he has time traveler. Time traveler is a link that is common with some of the hybrid Saiyans, the Trunkses, the Vegeta family. So, and because on global we got finally where are they? These guys. Thanks to them, Great Saiyaman has increased in value as a unit, because they are also on time travelers. So you could make a team with them and then have him on it. Same goes for hybrid Saiyans. So these are basically categories where he would work on. Same for bond of parent and child. So he's an example of a really good ECA who has everything that he needs to function. You know? So him and click away. Same goes for Silas. Silas, also a good unit. Artificial life form, time travelers, and he's on. Let's see. He's on time travelers, but he's not an artificial life form. Shocking, yes, I know. So he will always get half his stuff. But that is still not horrible. He can still get his transformation off and he would still function well. But a lot of the artificial life form units are like... Here you got, of course, you got Baby, you got Metacooler, you got Boo. So a lot of those units are still there. So you still can be like, okay, I'm gonna use, and you got Baby Nimba. He still has options to function. So he's not out of the game at all. Because of that simple reason. That is just the problem is just something else. It is but and the transformation boosts you got, let's see, you want with Cell, time traveler, so Cell is like a unit that he would perfectly link with. So of course Hearts, but he won't not get artificial life form. Hearts, Salas is like still good for what he does as support. They made him good and better in what he is. In the main, he was good and he is now even better in what he's good. So he's good. See, the great up of time, again a unit that is like that will always age well. She will age really well for the simple fact that she has massively racing. She has this. She doesn't support any specific type, so she will always be able to work perfectly anywhere. You can run her outside of her category, outside of the Dragonball Heroes of the crossover. Same goes for Rubel and the corrupted one. So and she supports all of these which needed. So again, Fu, same thing as I said before. Fu is time travelers. So once we get some muscle or a Goku Black or in Goku Black will ECA, Fu will be a unit that you can slot in because he's time traveler. He's also on Exploding Raids and Battle Wits. I think is Exploding Raids. Is there some muscle on it? Let's see. Goku Black is on it. No, it's muscle. Oh yeah, here. Here's some muscle. Some muscle is on it. Strange that the Insamus. Why is LR Muscle not in this category? Okay. So, as you can see, Goku Blacks, Broly's also. So, but Broly's not a time traveler, but he can fill in a lot of categories. He works outside of his own category, so long there is a Goku Black and such, it's okay. Same here with the Towers. So, yeah, Battle of Wits. Oh, Hearts. Dio is also in it. So, he's also a unit that functions perfectly outside of his intended category. Because there are a lot of, most of these categories, there are units that he can link up with. So, and then you get these. Then you get this. These are what I call the same as the last one. These are units that are great, but also bad at the same time. To go here, you know, Cooler works on other teams, but he has this awesome passive and he has this. These are all awesome. This is also awesome. This is all awesome. But then you get this. He will lose all his value because he needs 3 or more Dragonball Heroes category allies on the team. Well, at least you get all allies, but you will lose half of this. The passive is not so bad still. The support bonus, but everything else is like, what? Again, he is a unit that wants to be on Wicked Bloodline. He has Code Judgment, Strong Clan Space, Soul Support, Metaphors, Universe, most. This guy wants to be on a Wicked Bloodline team. He wants to be on a Transformation Boost team. You know, that is where he wants to be. But he can't, because if you do that, then you will lose like more than half. It literally is half his kit. Anything that makes him great, he loses. So, yeah, he's, of course, he's the best ECA. He's the best ECA together with Great Saiyaman 3. But he suffers from this restriction, and the thing is, this cannot be fixed anymore. Well, it can be fixed if the theoretical second ECA comes, then this will save him. Then this can still save him, but there are some extra steps that you have to do, and then I will tell you guys that at the end. So these guys are fumbled. Both Vegeta and Goku, especially Vegeta. Vegeta is like the worst ECA, you know, because he has nothing that can keep him alive in the red zone at all. Non-technical additional attack that has a high chance of becoming a super attack for 3 turns from the start of turn. Okay, I need the Saber Guard. Cool. But again, he has nothing that can give him survivability, and he's restricted to Dragon Ball Heroes. Same goes for Goku. Dit is great. Also, dit is great. Everything else is great. But again, he is restricted to Dragon Ball Heroes. These are guys that should be, this, for both of them, should be Super Saiyan 3. Super Saiyan 3 is a category that really needs it. Yeah, it doesn't hurt them that hard, because, well, you got Bardock, but guess what? Bardock is not on Dragon Ball Heroes. What a shocker. See? Not Dragon Ball Heroes. He is on crossover, but not on Dragon Ball Heroes. So he needs to be on a team that supports it. Again, none of these do that. Maybe him, if he gets an ECA. There's Trunks, the best unit of 2019. He would be on a Super Saiyan 3 team, to be honest. But then you lose some of the other valuable Super Saiyan 3s like Vegeta or just Goku. You know? I mean, there are a lot of units that you want to have to fill in for the weaknesses of your team. In this case, so let's say you get Bardock. There's the Super Saiyan 3 Angel Goku, and you got Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, the SDR one. And then you get him. Why would you sacrifice those units for a unit that needs Dragon Ball Hero units to function? That's the stupid part. He should have been Super Saiyan 3. And he would need some extra defense, like damage reduction or whatsoever. But they didn't do it, so yeah, these are Goku's simultaneously a godlike ECA, but also a bad ECA. He falls in two categories. So those are the units that I want to talk about when I'm like, good and bad units. But to be honest, this weird design comes from we had it last year. We had it a little bit in the year before with with these two. With the Vegeta, just to show them off, so that you guys know what I mean. This Goku, this Vegeta. These are units that literally are better outside of their category, out of the Dragon Ball Heroes category, than that they are in it, because look, they support Vegeta family. And of course you could say, yeah, but is it not limiting them also? No, it's not. Because, they share, they are on Pure Saiyan, so you can make a Pure Saiyan with Goku family in it. You could make a bond of parent and child with the Goku family in it. They will always have a place, even though this would limit them, but they would still always have a place. They will always be able to join in any of these categories. But then you got a unit like, of course. Oh, didn't I pull you up? Oh, fuck. Then you got this guy. Vegeta. He was the beginning. With this weird, limited himself to the crossover team. Crossover for Dragon Ball Heroes. And it was still bad, because some of the best Grade Ape units are on crossover and Giant Ape. So that wasn't so bad, but he was a bit the beginning of this weird shift towards it. Still, he could function outside because of, he's a Vegito unit. Because Potara has some units that function like that, and he had, but he was a unit that was restricted already. So, and that was what hurt him the most. He was very restricted. He was one of the first units getting those restrictions. He was not that restricted, but he was still restricted, because he would not get these effects from himself. And then last year we had the unit that actually had the super limitations, and that was, of course, Super Saiyan God Trunks. Super Saiyan God Trunks is only good in his own team. When people heard that we were getting Super Saiyan God Trunks, they were like, yes, buff to hybrids, buff to Realm of Gods, and everything in between. They do so this. Trunks needed Dragon Ball Hero units. And it is not only that. You have to be lucky that you find they wouldn't be bad if if you could find Trunks friends or Dragonball Hero unit friends. So he literally had after his debut was bit the he was used, and then no more Dragonball Heroes. So they are. And because of his limitation, he could not be used anywhere else. He cannot be used in Realms of God. He could not be used in Balance of Man's Disciple. He could not be used in Power Beyond Super Saiyan. Oh, we didn't have Power Beyond Super Saiyan at the time, but just to give an example. Balance of Man's Disciple. He couldn't go anywhere else. He was stuck. So, but he still has hope. He can still get more categories added to him because with an ECA, but it wouldn't do much for him. Good unit. Too many restrictions. Same as these guys. These guys are like the descendants of this design. And he came out with units like Darkness Toa, Demon Goddess Toa, who works with every unit, every villain unit. Awesome sizzle. Even this guy, people would say he sucks, but guess what? He works on every team. He is not limited. He can go into fusion. He can go into hybrid, Super Saiyan 3, Kamehameha. He is not limited at all. He's even on a new category, Voice Raised on Earth. So he can go anywhere he wants on those teams. But the other ones can't because you need crossover, you need Dragonball Heroes. And that is what hurts these units the most, because even Rubello, she has this. But guess what? There will be either 1 or 2 units. Look, dit is the category. Time Travelers and Pepigos. Guess what? They have Dragonball Hero units. Full hearts. And everyone else. So she will always have a place. Supreme Kai. Again, she has this. But guess what? You got the Pie of Time. So she will also always have a place. They are limited, but not in a way that it can cripple them. Golden Cooler is crippled because of the fact that he can't go on a team where he links with, where he can synergize with, and that is Wicked Bloodline. Nimba, he can also go on any team that he wants, any of these, without any problems because of how he's built. So, and sadly, you can't say that for any of these other units. It is quite horrible. Demon Lord Debura, he can function outside. They are units that can actually function perfectly well. And then you get this Vegeta, this Blackmar Saiyan. Also with the restrictions. The designs are really weird. And I'm not talking about these guys, because yeah, they have weird designs. But you could, on the teams that you want, you can just run them together. It won't work. The attack down as such. And that is what I noticed, the weakness of all of these units. Is they have a lot of restriction. And same goes with, with Goku. He needs this Goku, that he needs superclass units, because that means that you can't run Broly at all. It's these they are they are good, but they are super limited. As limited in terms of team, they are made to be just in one category. Dragonball Heroes and crossover, and I would just say one because that is what the entire category is, a crossover category. So they will never get a chance to shine outside of their, because if you do it, then they are crippled. Fu, good design, he can flank outside. This Trunks can go anywhere. All part of time, anywhere. Vegeta and Goku anywhere. And then you get Golden Metal Cooler and Golden Cooler who want to be on Wicked Bloodline, but can't because they are now forced to stay on Dragon Ball Heroes. So it's all these weird designs that I would say, it hurts a lot of categories, because these units you want them on you want to use them on categories where they are well used. I mean, Super Pycon, for example, he's on World Rivals, you want to use him on there. And you can use him on there, that's the good thing. But you cannot use Golden Metal Cooler without crippling him. Same with Metal Cooler, Golden Cooler. If you put them on Wicked Bloodline, then they will suck, because, well, they need Dragon Ball Hero units to function. Same as this God Trunks, he needs Dragon Ball Hero units to get the stats. Same as Janemba, he needs Dragon Ball Hero units to get a good base stat. Or else he's made of toilet paper. The Goku and the Vegeta, 2 units that you want to have on Super Saiyan 3 and the Super Saiyan 3 category, and team that really needs this buff. And they are not getting it. So you get a lot of units that have these really bizarre designs. Same as with Vegeta and the Goku. Yeah, that also the starts as shit, but that is something that is not that important. If this is shittle. So, of course, I will say this. This can be fixed with ECAs, of course, and with the hypothetical of how should I say, the theory of a double ECA. If we get a survey, and I think we will, if we get a survey about what we think of the Dragon Ball Hero units, and they ask, what do you think of this unit, what do you think of that unit, what do you think of the design of those units, I would say that you say that they are not good. Say they are too limited in categories. Like, he can only function in like 2 categories. Goku can only function in 2 categories perfectly. Even though you want them in like prepared in Giant Ape Power. Same goes for Vegeta. Vegeta is still good off. He works in what he has to work, not Goku. And same goes for. But if they ask, well, if there's a survey, what is your opinion about Golden Metal Cooler's kit? And then you can just write, for example, too limited. Wished, and then you would write too limited. Would have liked to see that he works on with the Wicked Bloodline. Just say that. if you get a survey and you just write too limited to one category. And you can easily say that, because if you write it down, then when these units gonna awaken, they will most likely make the awakening in such a way that they can work in Wake the Bloodline, that they can work in Corroded Body and Mind. You know? And if they EJ him and him, they might make it so that they can, that Goku will get his effect with Great Ape Power, and that Vegeta might get his effect on whatever other thing that you want to have. I don't know what do you want to have it, but you know, it helps. And of course, you can always say, and you can always add in the survey that you think that the stats of them are too low, they are too weak, which might end up buffing them. So if you get a survey, and I want you guys to try and do that. For the rest, they are hype units, but in terms of how they are made, they are a letdown. That is all. Same goes for most of the ECAs, and the ECAs that are good that we got, they are godlike, but you know. This is all I want to say. This is my opinion of the Dragon Ball Hero units, and in the entirety of the category. I would say that they, you know, when we get the survey, do what I have said, and it should be a lot better. Because, yeah, I don't think that you want to run Bardock if you can run like Gogeta or LR Goku, LR Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Vegeta, if you over him. So, yeah. That being said, dit was K.M.K saying Joodse video's in sayonara and arrivederci, and I hope to see you all next time. K.M.K out. Bye, and stay safe out there.